So if you're Satan and you want to take down the world,
If I were the devil,
you take America down and you would accomplish it. Now, how do you do that? Well, one of the most effective ways is to get God-fearing, freedom-loving, Sunday school teaching, lawn-mowing, car-washing, flag-waving Americans and tell them you really don't need to be involved.
soon I could evict God from the courthouse, then from the schoolhouse, and then from the houses of Congress.
And the way that they've been able to do it is to convince seminaries and pastors that to not get involved. And so half of all self-identified evangelicals are not registered to vote. And half of those that are registered don't vote.
In other words, if I were the devil, I'd just keep right on doing what he's doing.
Now that's Satan's key. If you could turn that, you could take this country in a minute. Every school board, every city council, it would be a piece of cake. It takes somebody who knows the Lord, who knows the situation, that can sit down and scripturally discuss it with the pastor and the folks. Here's what you need to do. Just two things. Register to vote. And then secondly, you get them to show up at the polls and do vote. Now, when you do that, you save a country. Chad Conley has an insight that literally no one else can have. All of us think we understand business, we understand the church, or we understand politics, but very few people actually understand the integration. Chad Conley has run for office, so he understands how that works. But he also has been a state chairman, so he understands how the politics works. He's taught Sunday school for over 2 decades. He understands the scriptures. No other political organization could do that. The difficulty of professional political organizations is that they make money on the size of their organization. So the more money they can raise, the more noise they can create, the more media they can buy, the more brochures they can print, then they say, look what we've done. Faith Wins is able to accomplish 100 times more on a 10th the amount of money because they're not fighting for their own benefit. They're not getting percentages for the noise that they make. All they're interested is engaging the pastor in the pew to actually make the difference.
We engage pastors the old-fashioned way, by meeting them face-to-face and building trusted relationships. Faith Wins has worked tirelessly hosting thousands of meetings all across the nation. Our network expands to all 50 states, involving dozens of conservative denominations, working individually with over 20,000 pastors and faith leaders across the country. From those meetings with trusted relationships, we've been able to register over 2 million believers to vote since 2018. And with our total organizational budget being only a fraction of what the parties and committees get, the math breaks down to spending under $5 per new registered Christian voter. But it's not just registering new voters. Our team works hard each election cycle to recruit and train Christian poll watchers to uphold voter integrity in our elections at every level. We've all heard that old saying, politics is downstream from culture, but culture is downstream from faith.
Yep.
And if you want to impact the people who vote in here, the 435 in the House and the 100 in the Senate, you better impact the faith community, and that's what we're trying with all our heart to do, brother.
So if we're going to change the culture, we're going to change Washington, we have to get Christians to vote. And that's what nobody does like you do.